KUT, this is another cold case. This case happened in 1981. Joseph Curl. On the morning of July 11th, 1981, a father and his children was fishing on Baker River, about 200 yards of Virginia Avenue, Precinct 11 access, when they saw a dead body floating in the water and called the police. Officer Rob found a fully clothed Mr. Joseph in the water with signs of trauma to his upper body. The victim, when he was deceased, he was only 25 years old. And it's amazing and aggravating at the same time how so many cold cases. I don't matter. It doesn't matter what year the murder has occurred, and it shows up to then and up to now how people really don't talk and give information to the police so they can solve these crimes. The point I'm trying to make is that was all the way in 1981. And still you have cases that's in the 2000s and, 2017 up to now, how is so many unsolved murder cases. And it's due to, one, they might not have enough police. Two, when things like this happen, I'm quite sure someone knows the situation that happened. And sometimes we have family members that don't want to tell on their loved ones, or a spouse or anything of that nature. But how do you expect for the police to do their job and solve the case if no one wants to talk? And this been going on for decades of cases not being solved. And it's not that it can't get solved. It can. If someone that know the parties that's involved say something. But I'm in quite frankly, sometimes the person that did these things probably not even living anymore, because, or maybe they could be, but being as though this case was all the way in 1981, so you never know. But if people don't come together and try to give the information that the police need, it's going to be more and more cases going to be out there and not getting solved. It's still gonna continue building up, and it's gonna be more and more unsolved crimes if no one says anything. And even if you're the one who did it, it's going to eat you up, or maybe not, if you that mean and nasty. But eventually you're going to have to answer to it one way or another. Either the same fate is going to happen to you, or something else of that nature. Maybe you will get a sickness or anything, because you cannot harm people and not think nothing is going to happen to you. You might not die from a gunshot, knife, whatever the case may be. You might die of an illness, and it might be painful, but it's painful because you did something you should not have done by taking someone else's life. And this day and age is so much violence in this world, and it's affecting our community, it's affecting our children, because now they target kids. They target kids, they target elderly people, they target females, and then you got some females doing the same thing as a man. And some females is more ruthless than a man. And you got women that be out here setting their baby daddy up, setting a man that got money. They be setting people up, and it's a very dangerous game, and it's a very dangerous cycle. And just because you're a female, that doesn't mean nothing will not happen to you because of your actions. And then another thing, to get off this topic of murders and unsolved, and then you also have to look at when you have children. You don't want your children to grow up and think it's okay to rob somebody, kill somebody, or just out here fighting and being disruptive. Because when they start young like that, that means as they get older, it's going to get worse and worse and worse if you don't get a handle of it. And sometimes as parents, you cannot be around your child 24/7, but you have to instill knowledge and growth to your children, and make sure they don't be out here robbing, stealing, killing, or hanging around the wrong crowd because they want to be in. And it's so much more that we have in this community that can help these children. And I feel as though they got all this money in the government, mayor's office, everything. Y'all have to use those tools and utilize the funds to help these kids that have anger problems, or if they've been abused, or they don't have anything to do. Because when we were growing up, we had a lot of things for us. We had community centers, we had free camps, we had after school programs, we had mentor programs, we had Big Sister, Big Brother. We had all of those tools when we was growing up. And they took all these tools that was in school to to help these kids. And then you don't have enough teachers to teach the children. We used to have, but teachers don't want to be hurt and disrespected from these kids that don't want nothing for themselves. But again, they don't have the tools to properly help the problem child, to get them into some type of mentorship or counseling to suppress their anger. And a lot of parents is their children first study being a parent. You have to be a parent. You have to talk to your children. You have to ask those your children hard questions. You got to, even though we have to work to provide, but we also have to provide and be nurturing to our children so they won't make the bad mistakes as joining gangs, robbing people, things of that nature. But we do not have enough resources now to help these kids. Then you you have to hold these juveniles accountable for their actions, because if you keep giving them a slap on the wrist, not giving them consequences, they they're going to get worse and worse and worse, and it's going to be a war, because people is going to get tired of these juveniles invading their space, stealing their cars, breaking in their house. Some people work too hard to get these things. Car payments, house mortgage, all that costs money. And what else I do not like is, if someone steal your car and your car get towed, why should you have to pay for it? You didn't steal your car. It should be a fund to help them get their car out and get it fixed, or whatever the case may be. But you're charging people for their own car that got stolen, and I think that doesn't make any sense, because these cars is not made. It's so easily to break into. And these kids, they don't have nothing to do, so they out here creating mayhem in the city, because they don't have nothing to do. They don't have camps, and then when they do have camps, it costs an arm and two legs. Then if you have more than one children, that's thousands and thousands of dollars that you have to give the camps for your children to have something to do for the summer. It doesn't make any sense that the camp shouldn't cost that much. It used to be free. And as it still should be, because you want to put your children in something so they can have something to do over the summer. So they can have fun, have peace, have peaceful time, and have fun. The children can't even play anymore, because they have to worry about someone shooting out the car window. These children starting to see too much violence. Then the video games ain't no better, because it's violence. But I done rant for today. I'm done.